How are we using leadership styles wrong? We're treating leadership styles as if they're a menu item and we can only choose one, as if we're choosing a career or choosing a spouse. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1, and I wanted to start this off with a bang by telling people we're doing something wrong, everyone's doing something wrong. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I'm Chris, and the reason I'm starting here is because I've studied leadership for now more than 20 years. And I've interacted with, I've studied, I've met, I've talked to, I've been annoyed by, and I've admired many people over those 20 years. Not all of them were in leadership positions, but each of them have exhibited leadership behavior, at least in the moment of time that I was observing them. And that's going to be a theme today. The moment of time. We're going to get to that in a little bit. You'll hear me talk about that quite a bit. Let's talk about why leadership styles are used wrong. First of all, let's start from the beginning. Leadership styles are not created by the academics that wrote the papers about them. People in academia are writing papers, and it helps them to get a name if they can come up with a new label for something, or they discovered a new amphibian, or they created a new theory. People who are researching leaders, it's helpful if they can say, okay, well, I can categorize these behaviors that I've observed with this label. It's transformational leadership. It's transactional leadership. It's blah, 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 blah leadership. Now, they're not creating the leadership styles. They're just creating the labels that are going to be applied. I can guarantee you one thing, that the subject of the research, the people that were being studied, if they were interviewed, they never talked about themselves with regard to a leadership style. They never said, well, my leadership style is to be transactional. It may be true. That might be what they do, but that's not what they often talk about. The people that I've known that have been really excellent leaders, what they will tell me is they try to do the thing that's appropriate for the situation. They look at the situation, they look at the people involved, they look at the time frame that's involved, they look at the impact, and they try to do the thing in that moment of time that matters. How are we using leadership styles wrong? We're treating leadership styles as if they're a menu item and we can only choose one, as if we're choosing a career or choosing a spouse. Well, I want to be a leader, so therefore I have to figure out what style I'm going to use. That's how I'm going to be the best leader. That's not how leadership styles are meant. I've got a memory card laying in front of me. So let's say, for example, I use this memory card as a metaphor. And let's say this memory card is all the stuff that a transformational leader would do. And I've got that stored. And now I've got another memory card here. And then this memory card is made up of everything that a democratic leader, a collaborative leader would use. The trick is, I'm going to download all of that stuff into my head so that when the situation comes up, I can pull pieces from each leadership style that I need. It's not like I'm choosing one memory card and saying, that's what I'm going to do. That's the only database that I'm going to seek from. That's not really effective leadership. So as you look at leadership styles, they're very important. Don't use them wrong. You would never go to a restaurant. Well, maybe some people do. I was going to say, you're never going to go to a restaurant and order the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again for every meal. We know we need variety in our diet in order to be healthy. The same thing applies to leadership styles. Don't fall into the trap of saying, hey, I got this leadership book and it talks about servant leadership and boy, I ought to be a servant leader. Okay, maybe there's going to be a lot of times when you need to be a servant leader, but there's going to be other times when you're not necessarily going to have to be a servant leader. I mean, think about this. There's no single leadership style that's going to apply in every single situation, in every single moment of time. There may be a time when you have to poke someone in the forehead and say, go do this. Now, wait a minute. Chris, you're a leadership expert, and did I just hear you say that good leaders can actually raise their voice? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think there's going to be situations that call for someone to be shook. Think about starting a lawnmower. Sometimes you got to yank that thing a few times before it turns over. Leadership is very similar. Now, if that's all you have, that's going to be problematic. There's that expression. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If you go around hammering everything, that's not going to be a sustainable practice. You're not going to be considered a good leader. Think about all the data from each of these leadership styles in your memory card. Another analogy is they're all different tools in your tool belt. Which tool is going to be brought out for that right job, for that moment? Do you need a screwdriver? Do you need a flathead screwdriver? Do you need a wrench? What do you need? What does the situation call for? Now I'm going to close with this. I'm going to tell you one leadership style that will apply to everyone no matter what. I guarantee you. I don't care if it's servant leadership, transactional leadership, none of those leadership styles work without this: authenticity. Be you. Don't try to be the leader you read about. Don't try to be whatever is in the book that you're reading, or the video that you're watching, or the podcast you're listening to, or whatever. Take pieces from it, put it on a memory card, stick it in there, and leverage that, but make it yours. Everyone has to be their own version of a leader. When you start to try to be someone else, you're going to lose credibility, you're going to lose the respect of your team, and you're not going to be an effective leader. So, leadership styles, again, don't misuse them. It's a menu you could choose from, but you should be choosing from them to get the ingredients that are going to work in your head, with your style, with your approach as you. So to wrap up, leadership styles are not a one menu item choice. They're not choosing a career. It's not a leadership spouse that you have to be with for the rest of your life, or you get to be with for the rest of your life, honey. Okay. So you have the ability to just use all of them, use pieces for all of them in the situation that is appropriate. Think about that. I look forward to the next time. Let's go.